There's a thin line between kindness and weakness, and if you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling small, drained, or invisible, you already know the difference. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be cold, it asks you to be clear. There's no virtue in being nice if it comes at the cost of your dignity. Many people confuse being agreeable with being good. They say yes when they want to say no. They make excuses for toxic behavior. They tolerate disrespect in the name of peace. But Marcus Aurelius would call that what it is: self-betrayal. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Emotional boundaries aren't walls, they're definitions. They tell others, this is where I end and you begin. This is what I allow. This is what I refuse. Not out of anger, not out of pride, out of principle. The Stoic draws those lines not to dominate, but to stay aligned. The man with no boundaries is easy to manipulate, easy to guilt, easy to push into silence. But the Stoic? He may be calm, but he is not soft. He listens, but he doesn't bend to drama. He helps, but not at the expense of his own stability. Because he knows, if you don't protect your peace, no one else will. Most people don't realize they're being disrespected because the disrespect is disguised as closeness. A friend who jokes at your expense, a partner who pushes your limits, then blames you for reacting, a family member who calls you selfish the moment you set a boundary. They twist your desire for peace into weakness, and if you're not alert, you'll believe them. The Stoic doesn't fall for that trap. He knows that people treat you based on the standards you set and the ones you enforce. And when you allow repeated violations, you're not being kind. You're being complicit in your own erosion. Emotional boundaries are not about pushing others away. They're about choosing who gets to stay close. And not everyone deserves front-row access to your life. Access is earned through respect, through consistency, through mutual growth. Without those, even long history becomes irrelevant. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That means you don't just say what's acceptable, you live it. You don't beg people to treat you better, you simply remove yourself when they don't. Being kind is noble, but being kind without clarity is dangerous. It turns into self-neglect. And the longer you silence yourself to keep others comfortable, the more you abandon the person you're supposed to protect. You. If you're tired of being the one who always gives in, always makes peace, always bites your tongue, then maybe it's time to stop performing kindness and start practicing courage. Because courage is saying no when it's unpopular. It's walking away without guilt. It's choosing self-respect over approval. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be liked. It teaches you to be centered, unshakable, clear. And in a world that constantly pushes emotional overexposure, clear boundaries are your protection, your armor. Without them, you lose your identity trying to please people who wouldn't lose sleep over hurting you. That's why this channel exists. To remind you that strength isn't volume, it's precision. It's the calm no when others expect your compliance. It's the still posture in the face of guilt tripping. If you're ready to stop over-explaining, over-apologizing, and over-giving, subscribe. Every video here is a tool to reclaim your mind, your focus, your standards. We're not here to avoid discomfort, we're here to master it. So join this movement, not for rebellion, but for refinement. Let's build the kind of boundaries that free you to live with clarity, purpose, and peace. The moment you start setting boundaries, people will test you. They'll accuse you of being cold, selfish, distant. But that's not a reflection of your integrity. It's a reflection of their control slipping away. And if someone only valued you when you were easy to manipulate, their opinion of you is not worth chasing. The Stoic accepts this truth. He knows not everyone will understand his silence, his distance, his refusal to tolerate what once passed as normal. But he doesn't bend for approval. He doesn't explain his growth. He simply lives it, calmly, firmly, without apology. And here's what happens next. The noise fades. The drama stops knocking. Your inner world gets quieter. Not because life becomes easier, but because you stopped letting weak boundaries invite chaos in. So now ask yourself, are you being kind, or are you just afraid to be firm?